Hey everybody, this is William Henry. This is my VBlog for October 28th, 2011. It's been a while since I've updated my blog. I had a hugely busy October traveling and also finishing my new book. It's called The Secrets of Sion. It's about Jesus' lost stargate, the beaming garment, and the mysterious way of light and ascension art. In this book, I take a look at many ancient traditions about the ascension and transformation and what it says for our time. I connect you up with a group of beings who live at a higher dimensional place they call Sion, the place of peace. The beings who dwell there are referred to as the just humans, made perfect, ordinary humans who have transformed themselves into the righteous beings and have perfected or made themselves more whole, holy, and complete. They're there. They're waiting for us to join us, and The Secrets of Sion is a guidebook that will take you there. Very excited about it. I'm also excited about the companion DVD that will be released along with the book. Look for the book and the DVD to both be on my website, williamhenry.net, by the middle of November. I wanted to acknowledge the passing of Steve Jobs. What an incredible genius he was in our time and perhaps of all time. He came bearing the apple and has led us now into a whole brand new world that none of us could have ever envisioned without Steve. His last great idea, his great concept was Apple Computer's corporate headquarters in Cupertino, California. He envisions this giant ring, or shall we say Stargate, where the Apple will continue to flourish and to bloom. I have an anecdotal story about Steve Jobs and Apple Computer I'd like to share. Back in the 90s, I wrote a book called Blue Apples. It was about the Holy Grail mysteries of Jesus and Mary Magdalene. The title comes from a mysterious parchment that was discovered in Rennes-le-Chateau at the turn of the 20th century. A priest named Berenger Saunier discovered this cache of documents and had it translated. One of them had this totally bizarre inscription on it reading, "Shepherdess no temptation, Poussin 10 years old, P 681, at noon, blue apples." And nobody could figure out what blue apples meant. But to me, from the research I had done for the book, I knew that the blue apples are a symbol for the impossible. They're the symbol for transforming ourselves into light beings and transcending gateways into the heavenly realms. Well, I knew that the Beatles and Apple Computer at that time were in a tug-of-war over control of the Apple as a symbol or an icon. In fact, the Beatles, especially Paul McCartney, sued Apple Computer saying, "Your computers can now play music, and we own the icon of the Apple for any kind of a device that can play music." So as it turned out, Apple Computer had to write a very large check to Paul McCartney in order to continue using the Apple as their logo. And later, they formed iTunes, which became this incredibly popular music format. Well, knowing that this is all going on, I decided I better cover myself, and I wrote a letter to Steve Jobs saying, "Dear Steve, I know you're in a tug-of-war with the Beatles over control of the Apple. I'm writing a book called Blue Apples. I intend to use the blue apple throughout my book as a logo and even on the cover of the book, and I just want to make sure you guys are okay. You're not going to come and sue me if I'm talking about the blue apple as a symbol for an instrument or a device that opens gateways, because it's quite possible that the way we open these gateways is through a tone, wave, or reverberation that comes from within us." You can see my dilemma. So, a few days later, weeks later, I get a letter back from Apple's legal department saying, "Dear Mr. Henry, please feel free to use the blue apple as your logo. Apple uses the multicolored or rainbow-colored apple for its logo. You're safe. Please proceed. Go for it. Good luck with your book." Well, about a month or so later, I went and I got my new computer. It was a MacBook at that time. I was having a little bit difficulty with the setup, so I called Apple Computer's customer service. I get on the phone with them. The person on the other end says, "Well, the first thing we want you to do is to go up into the upper left-hand corner of your computer and click on the blue apple." Well, you can imagine my kind of excitement, confusion, just wonderment at the recognition that, hey, the blue apple really does exist. It is the logo for this incredibly powerful computer. And now when you go to Apple's campus in Cupertino, California, first thing you see upon arrival is the blue apple. The message of the blue apple is that we have to think different. We have to expand our consciousness. We have to go beyond in our thinking. And that was the whole message of Steve Jobs and Apple Computer. So I'm just absolutely proud to say the blue apple does exist. It is the symbol for the most powerful instrument known to man. In October, I was featured in the Ancient Aliens episode called Founding Fathers, in which they looked at the Ancient Aliens' connection to the U.S. Capitol. Right off the bat, the program blew me away because they went right straight to the U.S. Capitol as a Stargate. That's the work I brought forth in my book, Freedom's Gate, and it was really cool to see that featured in this way. But what really took me by surprise in this program was this amazing painting they dug up from the Library of Congress that shows George Washington standing beside Jacob's ladder. The ladder ascends into what the ancient alien writers thought was a disk. Clearly, this is a tear in the fabric of space-time. It's a Stargate. This is exactly what I said in Freedom's Gate, that George Washington ascends through the portal or gateway in the dome of the U.S. Capitol, at least in the painting in the dome of the U.S. Capitol, the apotheosis of George Washington, as if he's riding upon a Stargate. And here's this other incredible photo that clearly corresponds with this concept that Washington is an ascended being, and he's showing us the way through the gateway. Great job, guys. Really happy to see that. Verizon Phones continues with their Stargate theme in their commercials. Wow, I mean, in my last VBlog, I talked about the Verizon G4 phone, in which the Japanese girl morphs into the rainbow body. Now take a look at the Verizon Rhyme phone commercial. A six-armed angelic being sitting in a Stargate composed of counter-rotating rings of light tells us all about the new phone. She tells us it's going to awaken you with the song. Only from Verizon. Only from Verizon. I mean, where are these guys coming from? This is absolute incredible Stargate metaphysics in their phone commercials. I just wish the phone actually worked for that purpose.
I am the new rhyme by HT.
This goddess is a variation of Durga, the Hindu goddess whose name means the invincible. Also known as Shakti, her name means sacred force or empowerment. She symbolizes the primordial energy. She's often shown dancing in a ring. I wonder what Verizon's going to do next. Show Jesus beaming through a Stargate with a phone in his hand? Show Isis and Osiris on the ship of eternity talking to each other? Hey, Horus, how you doing, babe? We're on our way home. My premise here is that the concept of the Stargate, wormhole, interdimensional travel, transformation of beings of light is everywhere in our culture now, because this suggests we have successfully made the transition. I've been talking about this since my Stargate 2012 program back in 2003, that this would mark 2012. And here we are, taking a look around, and all we see in our commercials, we see it in our movies, we see it all over the place, is this idea of transformation, transition into higher dimensional beings, and travel by Stargate. I leave you with one of the best examples that I've seen lately, and that's the Friskies commercial with Puss in Boots. What we're going to see is Puss opening a Stargate, a rainbow ring, inviting another cat through. The cat jumps through the rainbow ring, goes into the other dimensional cat world, rings the cowbell, sees Humpty Dumpty and other magical figures, then jumps back through the rainbow ring into the ordinary world and has a bite of Friskies. Wow. It's everywhere, it's cool, it's happening, and to me, it's the most positive sign I've seen in a long time that we are here. We have made the shift. So way to go, people. Congratulations.
Welcome, mi amiga. An adventure awaits.
A celebration of flavor and magnificent taste. Like chicken, beef, or seafood.
Olé! Adios, little one. Your time here is complete. And my kitten, just a thought. Put some boots on those feet.
Friskies. Feed the senses.
See Puss in Boots, only in theaters.
That's my VBlog for this week. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Until then, be well.